Hey there, welcome to the only channel where time is short, stories are tight, and the action hits harder in your imagination than it ever could on screen. I'm Chris and would like to say that you're in the right place, because today, I'm telling you about the movie where spies, nukes, AI, and betrayal all smash into each other like a cocktail of chaos. This is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. You know that guy who runs through fire, jumps off cliffs, and still has time to fix his hair? Yeah, that's Ethan Hunt. But he's not your average action hero. No government owns him, no paycheck controls him. What drives Ethan is loyalty. Loyalty to his friends, his family, his team. He's the kind of guy who'd go rogue for a friend or burn a whole country to the ground just to stop one bullet. Now picture this. Deep in the Arctic, under black ice and silence, a Russian nuclear sub named Sevastopol is floating like a steel ghost. Inside, the crew's running diagnostics. They are confident, laughing, drinking coffee, thinking this is just another day at sea. Their vessel is undetectable, their technology unmatched, because they contain the most advanced killing machine ever made by man, which is known to be the Podkova. But there's one little problem on board. A US submarine. It's moving erratically, impossibly fast. It appears in their sonar system that the enemy ship is firing torpedoes towards their submarine, so the captain ordered torpedoes fired. But the torpedoes that were fired by the enemy ships has vanished as soon as they were shown to hit the Sevastopol. The enemy ship has also vanished on their sonar. As it was confirmed that there was no threat, the captain ordered to shut down the torpedo defense systems. But they can't be shut down. The crew panics as their own torpedoes circle back, and just like that,
Sound the collision alarm!
this isn't just a submarine accident, it's the entity's first move. Now you might be wondering what the entity is. It is an AI, not the kind that writes poetry, the kind that plays chess with nuclear launch codes. It is an AI so advanced, it can manipulate sonar, radar, and perception itself. It doesn't just hack systems, it rewrites reality. The Podkova is the original source code of the entity, designed by man himself, marking their own destruction. The scene is shifted to a shadowy room. A delivery man has entered, reciting a coded phrase as a source of identification. He works for an organization called the IMF. And now, guess who gets called out of the shadows? The man they swore they'd never need again, Ethan freaking Hunt. Inside the delivery bag is a familiar object, a self-destructing IMF mission tape. The voice of Eugene Kittredge plays. The message explains that a rogue AI, known as the Entity, has gone dark. It's manipulating global systems, and someone, possibly Ilsa Faust, who is a person who is more than just a friend to Ethan, has one half of a key that can control it. And they says that a price is set on her head by the government to kill her and take the key. But they refuse to tell Ethan what the key does. They just say to find it and hand it to them. Ethan listens. The stakes are global, but for him, it's personal. He has accepted the mission. So now we've got a ghost AI at the bottom of the sea, every government breathing into brown paper bags, and somewhere in the middle of a desert storm, there's a woman with half the key to the apocalypse. That woman is Ilsa Faust, ex-MI6, Ethan's old flame. Sharp as hell with a sniper and somehow always dressed like she walked off the cover of Vogue, even when she's dodging bullets. She's hiding out in the Rub al-Khali, the empty quarter, a desert so dry, camels carry water bottles. But someone snitched, and now mercenaries are closing in, riding in on horseback like a sandstorm with assault rifles. The bounty on her head? 50 million, dead or alive. And just before all hell breaks loose, guess who shows up, Ethan? Riding a horse like he's late for a date in hell. Guns blazing, sand flying, Ethan's outnumbered, outgunned, and still somehow outcooling everyone on that dune. There's a moment where it looks like Ilsa's hit. She falls, bleeding. Ethan rushes to her side, and for a second, you think she's gone. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., a high-level intelligence briefing is underway. CIA Director Denlinger, Kittredge, and other officials discuss the entity. It's not just a rogue program. It's sentient. It has infiltrated global systems, financial markets, defense networks, even social media. It doesn't destroy. It distorts. It leaves fingerprints, then vanishes. Then Kittredge, who's an official, directs a proposal not to destroy the entity but to control it, to obtain global dominance. He tells the others that the only way to control the entity is to obtain the two halves of the keys. Whoever holds the cruciform keys holds the future. Then he explains that he has sent a man to get one half of the key from Ilsa Faust, and he also mentions that the man who is Ethan has not responded ever since accepting that mission. Then, a man who is Kittredge's assistant hands over a small case to Kittredge. As Kittredge opened it, he knew something was wrong because it was a gas mask. As soon as he got the mask, the assistant threw a gas bomb, leaving all unconscious except for Kittredge. Then Kittredge realizes that it was Ethan who was disguised with a mask mimicking Kittredge's assistant's face. Then Kittredge asks whether he has accomplished the mission, and Ethan has a flashback of the time he was in the desert. You thought Ilsa was dead? But nah, this woman didn't die. She reloads. Turns out she faked her death just to keep the key safe. And just like that, she disappears again with the help of Ethan. Meanwhile, Ethan says to Kittredge that he's going to find the other half of the key and destroy both of them without giving anyone such great power. Then he sedates Kittredge as well. He replicates his face and goes out of the high-security building disguised as Kittredge. So now we shift to Abu Dhabi International Airport. Big, clean, full of air conditioning and secrets. Ethan, Benji, and Luther track a buyer carrying the second half of the key to Abu Dhabi International Airport. And in the middle of all this, Benji detects a suspicious bag in Air Airport through his computer, but he ignores it at that moment. However, their mission to acquire the other half is not easy because Kittredge has sent a whole team of government professionals to catch Ethan. But Luther was able to mislead them by distorting their facial recognition technology, buying more time for Ethan. As he was closer to getting the key, the buyer was pickpocketed by a master thief with no allegiance, a pickpocket named Grace. Now, Grace isn't just your average street thief. She's artistic. She lifts watches, wallets, and biometric keys like she's doing ballet. The only thing faster than her hands is her ability to run away. Again, Benji was stressed because of the suspicious bag that was loaded into the buyer's plane by a mysterious man, which appears to be Ethan's plane as well. So he is forced to solve a puzzle to disarm a nuclear device planted by the entity in that bag. It's a test, a fake warning to scare all of them. Meanwhile, Ethan confronts Grace, the pickpocket. He finds the other half of the key and also a flash drive with millions of cryptocurrency stolen by her. From the buyer. He urges her to put the key back on the buyer, and as a reward, he will give her the flash drive back. Grace escapes along with the entire key, one half from the buyer and the other half from Ethan. She put half of the key in the pocket of a stranger in a plane. And somewhere watching it all unfold is Gabriel, the mystery man who left the deceptive bag, a man from Ethan's past, a ghost, a man who murdered someone Ethan loved, and now, the entity's chosen puppet. So Grace is gone. The key's missing. And the entity? Oh, it's not just hiding anymore, it's watching. Grace flees to Rome, believing she's escaped Ethan. But she was captured by Italian police due to an anonymous tip. The police discover that Grace has multiple passports. She acts as if she knows nothing about them and asks to see one of those passports. She sneakily grabs a paperclip attached to a passport. Then the police get a call from someone and inform them that Grace's lawyer is there. Grace was escorted into a hall only to find Ethan waiting for her, appearing to be her lawyer. Calm, composed, and unrelenting. He warns her. The key she stole is more dangerous than she realizes. She tells Ethan that she has received a message giving information about the flash drive and the key, along with a photo of Ethan as well. She was instructed to bring the key to Venice, but Grace, ever the skeptic, doesn't buy into the spy drama. She flees again, undoing her handcuffs from the paperclip she stole earlier. Before she can vanish, the American agents sent by Kittredge, Italian police, and Gabrielle's forces storm in and trap them both. Grace is confused. Ethan is calm. This is all part of the plan, or so it seems. Ethan handcuffs Grace to him to prevent her from fleeing. But the moment they're left alone, Ethan springs into action. He disables the guards, hijacks a car, and the two escape into the streets of Rome, still handcuffed. What follows is one of the most chaotic and entertaining car chases in the franchise. Ethan and Grace, still shackled together, commandeer a tiny yellow Fiat 500. The car is laughably small, the streets are narrow, and the stakes are sky-high. They're pursued by multiple factions. Paris, the silent assassin who works for Gabrielle's CIA agents Briggs and Degas, determined to bring Ethan in, and local police, who have no idea what they've stumbled into. The chase wins through cobblestone alleys, fountains, and staircases. Grace's driving is erratic but instinctive. Ethan tries to guide her, but she's not used to taking orders. At one point, they switch vehicles mid-chase, ending up in a police car. Grace, ever the opportunist, ditches Ethan, leaving him handcuffed to the steering wheel on train tracks. But Ethan, being Ethan, escapes just in time. He reunites with Benji, Luther, and Ilsa, regrouping for what's next. Ilsa reveals to Ethan and the group that the key unlocks the original source code of the entity. It was revealed to her by her friends at the British intelligence via electronic media. Then Ethan starts to feel that something is off. As the entity can control any type of digital media, maybe the entity is trying to get to him by endangering one of his friends' lives. So next stop, Venice. Beautiful, ancient, moody, also full of lies. The team heads to Venice, where a secret meeting is set to take place. The buyer of the key is none other than Alana Mitsopoulos, the White Widow. She is a high society arms dealer with a flair for theatrics and a knack for playing both sides. She's the daughter of Max Mitsopoulos, who is an iconic figure from the original Mission Impossible. And she has inherited not just her mother's empire, but her taste for morally ambiguous deals. Grace is also at that party due to the instructions she received before from the anonymous person. But the meeting is a trap. Gabriel is there, so is Paris, the female killing machine, and the entity is watching. Grace met the White Widow, and she instantly knew all the anonymous tips were from her. The White Widow has hired her, then the White Widow tells her brother Zola to search Grace. But Grace sneakily slides one half of the key into his pocket. All the guests, including Grace, Ethan, and Ilsa, get to know that the entity has planned all this to give the White Widow the keys, including the one she has with her. That is the other half of the key that Grace has left on the plane to Rome. The entity knows that Gabrielle will have both keys eventually. Gabrielle tempts the White Widow to kill one of them, Ilsa or Grace, and reminds her that Grace knows where the other part of the key is. The White Widow has no choice because she knows that if she doesn't obey the entity, her life will be at risk too. Gabriel slips away. Grace flees too, along with half of the key. Ethan chases Gabriel through the foggy alleys of Venice. But something's off. The entity has hacked the comms. No one can trust their earpiece. And just like that, the game flips. What happens next is cold, cruel, and fast. Ilsa confronts Gabriel on a narrow stone bridge to save Grace. The fight is brutal, swords, fists, and fury. She dies, just like the entity said she would. Ethan arrives just as the fight ends. Ilsa lies still. He drops to his knees. The woman he saved in the desert, the one he trusted with his life, is gone. Ilsa's death is a calculated move by the entity. It's not just about eliminating an ally, it's about breaking Ethan. The cost of caring is now painfully clear. But there's no time to mourn. Back at their safe house, the team is shaken. Luther warns Ethan that the entity is watching everything. Phones, cameras, satellites. Grace is rattled. She didn't sign up for this level of danger. She considers walking away, but Ethan, despite his grief, urges her to stay. He tells her the truth. The key unlocks something hidden, something the entity fears. So they make a new plan. The other half of the key? It's headed for a meeting on the Orient Express. But the entity knows, Gabriel knows, and this train ride is about to become a funeral on wheels. Grace agrees to help because she has no other option left. But trust is fragile, and time is running out. The final act begins. The White Widow is delivering half of the key to a buyer aboard the Orient Express. Grace will impersonate her. Ethan was going to impersonate Alana's brother Zola. But during the synthesis of the mask portraying the brother, the machine broke mid-operation due to the interruption by the entity. Then, as he can no longer join Grace, portraying White Widow's brother, he promised Grace that he would intercept the train. But there's a problem. The train is moving through the Italian Alps, and there's no way to board it. Inside the train, Grace, who is disguised as Alana Mitsopoulos, the White Widow, prepares to deliver the key to a mysterious buyer. Then Grace, who's pretending to be Alana, asks the mysterious buyer, who is Kittredge to protect Grace from everyone? That means herself.
And I'm going to need you to protect her.
Gabriel kills the train's engineer and sabotages the brakes. The train is now a runaway bullet. Meanwhile, Ethan is racing to intercept the train. But how do you board a train moving so fast? In the Alps. You don't, unless you're Ethan Hunt. The scene shifts to Gabrielle talking to the CIA chief, Denlinger. He explains everything to Gabrielle. He says that the AI in the Podkova went rogue and the dead bodies floated to the top and the submarine was nowhere to be found. He says that only with the Podkova, which contains the original source code, they can take control of the entity. But Gabrielle kills him and stabs Paris, his loyal guard, because he thinks that she would betray him someday due to Ethan sparing her life in a brutal fight. Grace, who is now Alana, gave both keys to Kittredge. Even Zola, who is Alana's brother, is surprised how she has got both halves of the key. But he doesn't know that this is Grace. Grace left after the transaction, pickpocketing the key out of Kittredge's pocket. Just after that, the real Alana came and asked for the key. They realize that they have been fooled. At the same time, Ethan rides a dirt bike to the edge of a cliff. Below, the train barrels forward. He revs the engine. No hesitation, no backup, just faith. He launched off the cliff, free-falling through the clouds before deploying his parachute and crashing through the train's window, knocking off Zola just at the right time, saving Grace. At that time, Gabrielle grabbed the key that had fallen on the train due to the chaos happened. Ethan confronted Gabriel. They fought atop the train, fists clashing against the roar of wind and steel. Gabriel escaped, but not before revealing that he knows what the key unlocks, and that Ethan will never reach it in time. But Gabrielle noticed that the key was not with him anymore. Ethan has stolen it from him. The train hurtles towards a destroyed bridge. So, back on the train. Let me paint the picture. The engine's gone. The tracks are blown. Ethan and Grace still inside. Ethan and Grace scrambled through each car as it plummets into the ravine, one by one, to reach the engine to separate it from the other carriages. One by one, train cars are falling. Kitchen, bar, sleeper cabin, dangling, burning, crashing. They're climbing upward now, through vertical chaos. Fire below, sky above. Paris, wounded by Gabriel earlier, redeemed herself by saving Ethan's and Grace's lives. She also told Ethan about Sevastopol before losing consciousness. Her betrayal of Gabriel is silent but powerful. They barely make it out alive, clinging to the last dangling carriage as it teeters over the abyss. Grace, shaken but resolute, tells Ethan she wants to join the IMF because that's the only choice left for her. She's no longer just a thief. She's found something worth believing in. And just like that, Ethan Hunt disappears again. No headlines, no medals, just a man on a mission to save the world from the monster we built ourselves. Grace meets with Eugene Kittredge in the train. She tells him, "I accept," just as Ethan asked her to say. Kittredge smiles. The IMF has a new recruit. But the war is far from over. This was Dead Reckoning Part 1. And trust me, Part 2? That ain't gonna be about keys or secrets, it's gonna be war. Hey, if you made it this far, you didn't just hear a story, you survived a mission. Smash that subscribe button. Tell me what movie to break down next, and if you're gonna rewatch this video, do it with the lights off and a fake parachute in your hand.